In 1985, the Dean Forest Railway hauled its first passenger train to Lydney town centre, and this archive footage from that time gives a flavour of the event. The contrast, some 15 years later, as today's journey brings the train into Lydney town centre, is quite striking. The level crossing runs over the main road, where busy traffic is compelled to stop, much to the impatience of waiting car drivers, who are soon a little mollified when a fine locomotive in full steam passes by. There's little of note here today, with the train not even stopping. But there was a time when Lydney town station stood on this site, and thanks to a grant from the English Rural Development Commission, it'll stand here again in the not too distant future. Fortunately, As there's a wonderful collection of old forest postcards that belongs to Lydney's archive shop, it's possible to see what the reconstruction of the station should look like. This first postcard, dated from 1912, shows the original wooden station on the right, that the local inhabitants felt was too much of a shed. In 1897, the Great Western Railway built a brick station, and the classic canopy can just be seen behind the building in the foreground on the left. The man in the white boater sat waiting on the platform appears in many old forest postcards, and he's thought to be Will Phillips, a photographer from Gloucester. The second photograph, probably taken on the same day, shows the signal box, also built in 1897 from Hill Street. It was constructed to allow the signalman a better view of the road and the crossing. On the right-hand side stands the offices of the Severn and Wye Railway, which is still here today and is in use as the Lydney branch of the Royal British Legion. The scene has altered considerably with the passing years, but it's just possible to see the police station, which was built in 1867 on the left-hand side, which is very much part of today's view, next to a very modern fire station. The archive shop has also provided another very interesting photograph of Lydney Town Station, this time from the 1950s. The steam train at the platform bears the British Railway's insignia as seen on today's locomotive 9681, and it carries an advertising placard for the great Ealing comedy The Titfield Thunderbolt, made in 1955. The 1404, which is an ex-GWR engine of the type that was featured in the film, travelled between Lydney Town and Berkeley Road on the other side of the River Severn as a mobile advertising hoarding. At that time, there was a thriving cinema, or picture house, as it was then known, on Hill Street, and even its entrance was made to look like a station. As was the case for many small-town cinemas, the increasing popularity of television saw a decline in customers, and in Lydney the picture house closed in 1964 and was then demolished to make way for more modern shops. The Dean Forest Railway is aiming to have a 6-coach passenger capacity here in the centre of town, which will undoubtedly bring back trade to an area which has become rather neglected. This was once a thriving community, and it's interesting to note that today is Whit Monday, the day that at the time of the postcards would have seen hundreds of visitors from all over the forest arrive in Lydney by train for the many band and choir festivals that were held in the park. This postcard of Newen Street, again taken in 1912, shows a busy parade of shops, and today this is still the main retail area of the town. The co-op has been extended and still stands in almost the same location, but more senior residents of Lydney tend to remember more readily the wonderful jugs of hot faggots and peas that could be purchased for just a few pence from Mr. Ford's grocers, which stood next to the co-op in the 1930s and is now Lloyd's Chemist. It's ironic that the railway will again play its part in bringing prosperity back to the town with the reopening of the town station. The Dean Forest Railway has already done much to increase the popularity of the area, attracting visitors from all over the world, and their plans for expansion are certainly looking very promising. Once past the town centre, the passengers are soon greeted by waving children at a very attractive park, and the imposing spire of St. Mary's Church, which has given its name to the first stop on the journey, St. Mary's Halt, comes into view. Many passengers leave the train here for a pleasant walk around the Parkend Lake, followed by a stroll around the church and churchyard. The memorials found in parish churchyards can be very informative about a town and its history, and it's well worth looking for the mortal remains of Mr. William Easy, who was the chief engineer of the Severn and Wye Railway and is buried close to the line he must have known so well.